HappiDaze here. In today's video, we are doing some Kizuna Clash. So apologies, I know it's been a little bit since we had a video. Unfortunately, work is just really busy this time of year. We do get a nice little break at the Christmas holiday, so we'll be doing a ton of videos, and going forward, have a little bit more time to do some of these videos on some of the upcoming content, characters, and things like that. So definitely look forward to that. But today, we're going to break down my teams that I'm using for this Kizuna. So I did do a couple summons on the banner for here. I was able to pick up both the Atlas unit and the Lilith, so it's a huge help. Obviously, that's the full batch for this Kizuna. It is a regular Kizuna, so it's not a Super Boss Kizuna, so definitely would not recommend pulling on this, especially since they kind of changed the reward system to have kind of most of the rewards by the end of box 6. It's just not a good investment unless the unit is super broken. And while the Atlas unit is okay, that definitely has maybe some niche uses in PvP, especially against world government teams. She's definitely not critical, not needed. So save those gems. New Year is right around the corner. We'll probably get a Bonnie and Luffy unit, I'm guessing. That's just my thoughts of what we're going to see. So with that said, let's just get into teams real quick and see what we're doing for both these boss fights. So on here, I don't have any supports on the Dex version, but this is a team that I am using. Again, the ordering doesn't really matter too much, except for having that Vegapunk in the middle right section there, just so that if we have any cases where we get special bind, he reverses it himself, so we can still use the specials there. And we do get that on the third stage there. But going into stage 1, we're just going to get a bunch of buffs if you're any of the characters that you see here, Slasher, Free Spirit, or Cerebral. So building teams to basically handle that case. On stage 2, you are going to get a chain multiplier max of 1.1, so you have to have a way to obviously get a set chain multiplier or boost your chain multiplier, and 7 turns of increased defense, as well as getting your slots changed to type, and type slots unfavorable, right? So a lot of nasty gimmicks happening in that second stage. But how we're tackling it here is basically we're going to go ahead, and we'll have playthrough videos of these right after I explain the teams. On stage 2, we'll go ahead and use the Lilith to get the full board of the bomb slots, as well as lock them for 1 turn, which is awesome. And then we'll use our friend Captain Atlas to be able to get our attack boost, as well as the chain multiplier boost there. And if you use super type, you'll also get a little bit of an increased buff to that attack boost. So should be pretty easy to get through stage 2. Nothing's kind of too crazy here. So going into stage 3 is where there's just a lot of debuffs that you can have to deal with. So that's why we have some of these other units on this team. So stage 3, the boss is weak to Cerebral, so you want to try to have all Cerebral units on your crew if you can, and as well as having strength, because that's the type advantage. But on stage 3, you do end up getting 6 turns of special bind on your top and middle row characters, so that's why we have the Vegapunk here. 2 reasons, really. 1, he helps satisfy the having 3 scientists on the crew, but also he reverses special bind himself and can get rid of special bind for the whole rest of the crew. Also, he kind of functions as very similar to Atlas, where he can get 2 buffs increase, right? So you can almost get the whole buff chain. For the final stage, just do crazy Oonga Boonga damage there. So that's why we have him to help deal with the special bind that's on stage 3. You also get 10 turns of damage threshold, so the Atlas will help remove that. You could also, technically, I guess, use the special of the Lucci. I believe he also gets rid of, I think it's only 7 turns, so, you know, obviously if you didn't have Atlas, you have to have some additional supports on there if you want to get rid of that other thing. But we're going to be using Atlas to get rid of all that threshold, so we don't have to worry about it at all. You do get 5 turns of attack down. So again, we use the versus effect of the Lucci. That will get rid of the 5 turns for us. Awesome, we don't have to worry about getting any special characters or supports to help us get rid of that attack down. You get 9 turns of despair, so that's why we have our boy Chopper there in the bottom left. He's going to help get rid of that despair on the final stage. It goes down to 6 turns, so you just need a 6-turn despair remover who can go in that slot. You could use someone like Shaka or really any despair remover who's cerebral to kind of help get rid of that. There's also a 5-turn multiplier growth rate of 0.1. So again, similar to what we talked about for the previous stages, you need a way to boost your chain multiplier, and that's what we're going to be doing on this stage. There's also a 5 times attack down if your chain multiplier is less than 2. So again, you have to either do a set chain multiplier or a boost if you have any hope of getting through this nasty buff set there. And then last is, if that was enough, you get a 2-turn bomb slot barrier. So let's just go through those real quick. Special bind, as I mentioned, Vegapunk takes care of that. 10 turns damage threshold, Atlas takes care of that. 5 turns attack down, the versus effect of Lucci will take care of that. Chopper will take care of the 9 turns of despair. The multiplier great throat will be taken care of by the buffs that we choose for Atlas. She'll help get rid of that, as well as getting rid of that attack down chain. And then the 2 bomb slots, obviously, with the special of Lilith from stage number 2. It carries over and locks those bomb slots into stage 3. So Works out really well, and that's the team that we're going to be using for that fight against the Dex Boss. Now let's get into the fight against the INT Boss here. So positioning does matter here for one reason we'll talk about in just a second. But again, we're going to be using a Atlas Captain and Friend Captain. On stage 2, there's a lot of damage nullification on this battle, so that's what we have to kind of be prepared for, and Atlas gets rid of that with a bomb slot and tapping on her. So that's why you really need, 2 Atlases or a way to get through that damage nullification, whether it's someone who can hit through barriers or things like that to kind of get it. But on stage 2 for this fight, you have the 1 turn of damage nullification, 6 turns of threshold, 10 turns of recovery bind. Your bottom row gets stunned. There's also a special limiter, but I think with the potential abilities of the Atlas, we can get rid of that, or any other unit who has that ability to get rid of the special limit there. And then if you try to delay, there's an interrupt as well. So a lot of nasty gimmicks, but luckily it's not too hard for us to get through this stage. Really, it's a threshold, that stuff to get through. Again, the Atlas will kind of do it herself, but in this case, because of the interrupts that happen on stage number 3, if you try to do the multiplier increases or changes, I'm going to end up using the Lucci on stage number 2. He's just going to give a bunch of damage and just help give some stat buffs. He'll get rid of that damage threshold. And then again, we'll use our Captain Atlas. She'll be able to give us some attack boost as well as any of the other boosts that are there. If we want to do Orb, we can do Orb. And the Super Type will again give us the ability to just buff that attack boost a little bit further. Just make sure that when you're tapping, you have to tap with Atlas first, both on the second and third stage, and she has to have a bomb slot on her if you want to be able to get rid of that damage nullification that are on the second and third stage. So just keep that in mind. I do have the support Mihawk here, and that's what we'll talk about in just a second on fight number 3. So that support Mihawk that's on the Vegapunk will help get rid of, or do end of turn damage to get rid of the resilience on stage number 3. So 6 turns of resilience you have to deal with. Not fun, but it kind of is what it is. Again, the boss for the third fight is a cerebral weakness boss. You want to have characters on your team who are cerebral and who are preferably Psi, so you can kind of get through that damage, do the most damage here. You also have to deal with another 2 turns damage nullification. So again, if you have double Atlas, you can just use 1 Atlas on the second stage. As long as she has a bomb slot, she'll get rid of that 2 for you. So you use 1 Atlas on stage 2, 1 on stage 3. And then to get rid of the 10 turns increased defense, if you use the Lilith character here, and you have at least 3 scientists, they'll set defense to 0 for 1 turn, so that's great, gets to do that. We don't have to worry about the burn, there's no multiple stages, so as long as we kill the boss in 1 stage, we don't have to worry about any of that stuff. So we're not really concerned about the 900 burn that we get, so just keep in mind. And then lastly, you get your slots to Dex. With the sale ability of Lilith, though, we get those changed for us. So that will be all the gimmicks that we have here. Again, we'll do playthroughs of these in just a moment, but just a quick note, the order of these characters are important just for the Chopper and the Robin I have there, just because I'm starting in the Chopper version because I want to have the Robin ready to go, but their Super Switch isn't ready. So on stage 1, you have to do a swap once, and then again on stage 2, you have to do a swap again. If they're in the bottom row, they'll be stunned, so you won't be able to do that. So just keep that in mind as you're going through the content. So that being said, let's actually go through the content. Again, this is only on level 23, but it will last for 30 plus levels. You don't have to worry about that. Build these teams to be able to do that. So for the Dex variation, as I mentioned, we're just going to go ahead and just pick another Atlas Friend Captain. Just makes it really easy. Again, on stage 2, we're just going to start using our specials. So stage 1, you can just tap. We don't have to worry about swapping or waiting for your gauges to charge. Luckily, because of the Lucci unit that we have there, he'll already be in the spot where he'll be basically ready to go, just tapping normally. So that's great. Love to see that. Got through stage 1 pretty quickly. Stage 2 is where you start seeing a bunch of the debuffs. As I mentioned, chain debuffs there. You get the increased defense. We use Lilith to get rid of that. As long as you have 3 scientist characters on your crew, you can go ahead and get rid of that pretty easily. And then again, we'll end up using the Atlas unit here. We'll use the special first. That way we can get the attack boost and the chain boost. And then you can use the super type after, just to make sure that you go ahead and get the extra buff there to the attack. And at that point, you can just basically one-tap Law. Pretty easy, tons of damage, no real worries there. So going into the last stage, again, there's just a lot of buffs that get applied to you here. You get the Special Bind, which isn't fun to deal with. You have the tension of the Threshold. Just not fun. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is go ahead and use the Vegapunk unit first. He'll get rid of the Special Bind, and also he won't trigger the interrupts So basically, you can get a free orb and attack boost, then use the, and I'll do in a second, use the super type of the Atlas unit there to just buff that before you basically give yourself another one. So just crazy. If you use the special, you can use the special of the Lucha here, technically. I'm not going to just because I don't really need it. I think we'll have more than enough damage without having to do that special. So I'm just going to go ahead and choose those buffs. Go ahead and use the chopper just for fun. It doesn't really get us anything. It just gets a bunch of additional healing. And then you have to tap in the order of Lilith, and then Atlas, and boom. You can see like the damage here is just absolutely ridiculous. Like we'll be able to go probably to 100 plus without having too many worries about having to change this team up, which is great. You'd love to see that. Alright, so that was the Dex variation. Let's take a look at the INT variation. Again, there's not too much difference in terms of the team that I'm using, except one character got swapped there. But yeah, the damage nullification on stage 2 and stage 3 is just really annoying to deal with, so you just have to be careful as you're going through that. So let's go ahead and do a friend Captain Atlas so we can get through this. On stage 1, we are going to swap the Chopper and the Robin unit, just so we can go ahead and make sure that their charge gauge is ready for the last stage. Now, their ability, I believe, will actually give Cerebral, turn Cerebral into Super Cerebral, which is why it's just so great to have them. Now, do you actually need them? No, probably not. I mean, you can see from here, we just have so much damage output. Or we'll have so much damage output that, like, yeah, if it was just in the Chopper form, you didn't get the super class of that unit to give you some more damage, like, it's not the end of the world. You'll be completely fine. Don't even have to worry about it. But on stage 2, we're going to go ahead and swap that character again. So now they're going to be ready to go. Perfect for the final stage. Go ahead and use the Lucha unit to get rid of that damage threshold. Again, Atlas herself could have done the same thing, but why not just get a little bit extra buffs? And we don't want to trigger the interrupts on that final stage. So that's kind of is what it is. So yeah, we can actually give ourselves whatever buffs we want to do there. Could have did an orb boost as well. Wouldn't have really mattered which one we do. We have more than enough damage to kill. Again, with the damage nullification, you have to have a bomb slot on the Atlas for it to work. But as long as you do, you can see, boom, it's a nice, easy way to kill, and nothing kind of too crazy there. Alright, so going into the last stage here, this is where the biggest gimmick here, I think, is the 2x damage nullification that you have to get through. If you get through that, everything else is pretty easy. Minus the resilience, right? You have to have, obviously, a support or a unit that takes care of resilience, but there are a bunch of units now which help with resilience, so luckily, with the Mihawk that we have here, he'll just help that out. Now, that doesn't trigger, I think, until level 30+, which is why you don't see the resilience here. But just keep note that that is there. So we're going to go ahead and use the versus ability of the Lucci character there. Love to see it. All right, then we're going to use the Vegapunk unit. We're going to go ahead and give us both an attack and orb boost. And that means that we can use the super type of the Atlas unit there, just give us additional buff. I'm going to do the swap of the Chopper and Robin there. One, so I can get my special ready, get the super class ready. Just gives me a bunch more damage. And I am saving Lilith for last, just because there are some slots that you can see here that got changed away from Bomb. So I definitely want those to be Bomb slots. One, because I need Bomb slots on Atlas to be able to go ahead and kill. And then two, it'll just make it a lot easier to do the damage. So again, I'm going to use my super type first here. That way I can buff that attack boost that Vegapunk gave me. And then use my special there. Boom. I can use the rest of the debuffs that I don't have. And you can see, like, I just have an absolutely insane amount of debuffs. So I'm just going to basically Q-tap here, and sorry, I didn't use Lilith first, which I should have, but I did have the ability to get rid of the barrier there. So sorry, I actually should have hit with Atlas first to get rid of the damage nullification, but I didn't there. But yeah, so if you're attacking, make sure you use Atlas first. Otherwise, if you use her last, you'll still have more than enough damage to break through that damage nullification and do enough damage to kind of kill the character there. So that's going to wrap it up for this video here. Hope you guys are having good luck on your Kizuna so far. Might have some videos out, probably not today, but maybe tomorrow. I'll see if I can do some other alternate teams for Kizuna that don't have, obviously, the full batch. Again, there is another content creator, Bellagio, who has a lot of great content out there. I know Tozuki has some content out there. I know Stump has some content out there. So definitely go check those out if you want some other ideas for some teams. As always, until next time, be kind to each other. Thanks.